will be the acting sergeant at arms today. So just before we get started with the meeting, here are some rules that which we will follow. First, keep your mics on mute unless you are speaking. Second, please refrain from using your phone during the session, as it can be a bit disrespectful for the speakers coming up on stage. And third, encourage every single speaker who is coming up on stage today, because each and every one of them has put in the maximum effort for preparing for their role. Now, without any delays, let us begin the session. And to open the session, I would like to welcome our presiding officer for today, Toastmaster Tamilarasi.
Welcome to the 43rd session of Vellore Toastmasters Club. I will be your presiding officer for today. It's my pleasure to see you all here and nice to see all the guests. Today the theme is readers or leaders. The theme has been selected by our TMOD. I hope we have a great session. And I'm very much happy to invite our TMOD Toastmaster Manimegalai.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tamilarasi.
Thank you.
Good evening, Toastmasters, and welcome guests. This is Toastmaster Manimegalai. I'm here, TMOD, for this good evening. I'm really happy to act as a TMOD. Yeah, well, today we have a number of new faces, number of new guests arrived from various clubs and various places, right? Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank you all for wonderful joining us, BTC, and I thank Uma ma'am and Toastmaster Ramun from Loyola, Toastmaster Geoffrey from Loyola, and Toastmaster Sumedas from Loyola, and Godfrey, our own known face from VIT Trueno. Welcome you all, and thank you for joining us. Well, yes, today's topic, readers are leaders. Yes, leaders are leaders. Yeah, this is our today's topic. Before going to start our session, my session, I would like to describe about Toastmasters for sake of guests. So Toastmaster is a non-profit educational institution where we can develop our communication skills as well as leader skills. It is headquartered in US. In around 162 countries running this club with nearly 16,000 clubs are running throughout world. Yes, this is really a nice club for us to develop our skills. Okay, then well, my team was, as I said earlier, readers are leaders. Yes, as we know all, leaders are not born; they are made, isn't it? Yes. So, can you say what is the expansion of book? Anyone? Book? What is the abbreviation of book? Well, good. Book is, we can say, right, it's a big ocean of knowledge, or we can say big, that is body of organized knowledge also, we can say, right? So, since most of the, even take anyone who success in their profession, there must be readers, because they know, that is, they understand that knowledge is the key source for the success, and for acquiring the knowledge, reading book is the main work for the acquiring that knowledge, isn't it? So reading habit, it inculcates their inherent talents, and they know many things they are not aware of before that. Since today's readers, tomorrow's leaders. Yes, because since knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. With this thought, I would like to welcome today's Gender Evaluator, Toastmaster Tamilarasi, to introduce our tactic. Toastmaster Tamilarasi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manimegalai. Good evening once again, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I will be your general evaluator for today. My role as a general evaluator is to evaluate the speakers, the evaluators, the table topic speakers, and the role players in the session as a whole. To help me out, I have a tag team here, that is timer, or counter, and grammarian. First, I would like to call the timer for today, Toastmaster Geoffrey.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Geoffrey. I'm the time of the day. So my role is to note down the time taken by each speaker, and I shall also alert speakers of their times using green, yellow, and red cards. So the time allotted for prepared speech is 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I should show the green card. At 6 minutes, I should show the yellow card, and at 7 minutes, I should show the red card. The time allotted for table topics is 1 to 2 minutes. So at 1 minute, I should show the green card. At 1.5 minutes, I should show the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, I should show the red card. Finally, for the evaluation, time allotted is 2 to 3 minutes. So at 2 minutes, I should show the green card. At 2 minutes 30 seconds, I should show the yellow card, and at 3 minutes, I should show the red card. I request all the speakers to pin my screen so that you all know when I'm showing the card. Thank you so much. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Geoffrey. Now I would like to call our counter for today, Toastmaster Ramun.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. So I'd be acting as the R counter for this particular meeting. Everyone is a good speaker, I would say, but the fillers we use in our speeches like and inappropriate pauses kind of spoils the beauty of the speech. So you could also describe it as a weed in an agricultural farm. So I, as the R counter, will keep a note of those filler words, and I would present my reports in the later end of the meeting when the general evaluator calls me. I'd be mainly noting the words like like, so, but, and, I mean, and other kind of fillers and the pauses which are inappropriate. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ramun. Finally, I would like to call our grammarian for today, Toastmaster Sumedas.
Hi, I'm Toastmaster Sumedas. I'll be playing the role as the grammarian. So my role is to pay attention to the good use of the English language and any incorrect usage as well, and provide constructive feedback based upon it. And at the end of the meeting, I'll provide my report. Today's word of the day is information, which means knowledge obtained from investigation, study, or instruction. In a sentence, it would sound like they are working to collect information about the early settlers in the region, for example. So I would encourage you to use this word as much as possible. Thank you. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sumedas. Next, I will tell some general housekeeping rules which we have to follow the whole session. The first one is there is 1 minute break after every speaker finished their speech. In this duration, we have to give the feedback through to the speaker through the individual message. The next one, show thumbs up whenever someone uses a word of the day. Next, don't leave the meeting while someone is speaking or someone is evaluating. The next one is finally mute your phones to avoid the unnecessary disturbances. And next, for the benefits of the guests, let me tell you some how regular Toastmaster guests going on. The first segment is a prepared speeches. In this, there are some speakers are there. We already informed them for preparing the speech. They came with prepared speeches and they will speak. The next one is the evaluators. The evaluator evaluates the speakers. Before the evaluation session, the third segment is a table topic session. In this, in this everyone, that is even the guests have to can we give the speech that is within 1 to 2 minute impromptu speech. Finally, as a general evaluator, I will give the evaluation decision as a whole. Now over to TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tamilarasi. Good evening again. As I said by Tamilarasi ma'am, we have 3 sections, right? The first session is prepared speeches. Yes, in every book, we have a number of chapters, right? Like in Toastmaster, we have important 3 sessions. The first session is prepared speech. Suppose you are reading your favorite book. How do you feel? You feel comfort and some warm mood to read, right? In this way, in Toastmaster also, the prepared session, we are happy to take it compared to table topics, isn't it? Yeah. So first, now let's start prepared speech. Today we have 2 prepared speeches, one by Toastmaster Rahul and another by Toastmaster Anandan. Now let's start with Toastmaster Rahul. Toastmaster Rahul is an enthusiastic member in our VTC. He has completed his CC 10 and now he is moving in pathways level 4. This is level 4 project 3. His title is how you say it just as important as what you say. This is his title. Before calling a Toastmaster Rahul, now I would like to call his evaluator, Toastmaster Godfrey, to read out his objective. Toastmaster Godfrey.
Good evening, everyone. So I am Toastmaster Rahul's evaluator for the 43rd session of VTC. Today, Toastmaster Rahul will be presenting his level 4 speech 1, which is to enrich the audience's knowledge with a PR strategy. Now, today's session is how readers are becoming leaders. And I believe that is the first step of a 2-step process of making a person's character whole. The second would be having a PR strategy to put forth that knowledge you get from books, to embellish yourself as a leader to the outside world. And today, Toastmaster Rahul will be providing us with a strategy, a PR strategy to present an idea. It may be about yourself, an organization, or anything. So I wish Toastmaster Rahul best of luck. All the best. May you fulfill all of your objectives. Over to the TMOD.
Thank you, Godfrey. Toastmaster Rahul, now the stage is yours. Good luck. Toastmaster Rahul, please come and give your presentation.
By a show of hands, how many of you have ever heard of the phrase, it's not what you say, it's how you say it? Do you remember who told you this? If you do, go and find them and tell them that they lied, because it's completely wrong. What you say is just as important on how you say it. Good evening, Toastmasters and fellow guests. Has there ever been a situation in your life where you have, no matter how much you tried, of putting your viewpoint forward, you always face this resistance from the other person? If you have, take a few moments to just reflect on this situation. I am one who has faced this situation in my life countless number of times. But I'm here to tell you a story today, not about me, but about my friend when we were back in school. She had a vision to introduce the event called TEDx into her school and organize the first ever edition. As we all know, TEDx is a very big event internationally. When she started off working, initially she faced a lot of resistance. The faculty was not interested in helping out. Students were not interested in attending the event, and the school board saw no merit in the idea. When she told me about the problem she was facing, frankly, I found it very amusing because TEDx is again such a major event. And why would a school, especially that was looking for publicity because they were expanding, would resist an idea like this? I just told her maybe it's the way you're saying it that's wrong and you can just try and improve on it. 6 months had passed by since this incident took place and I completely forgot about it. One fine day, when I opened the newspaper, what awaited me in the front page surprised me. It was not pictures of the event taking place, but it was saying that it was one of the best events and how young people are taking initiative to organize such things. When I bumped into her 2 days later, I asked her, how did she manage to pull this off? And in a sentence, she summed up the most easiest and the most effective PR strategy. Once you have identified the goal and you've understood who your audiences are, it's just about communicating the value and expressing the need. It sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? And here are the 4 steps into one of the most effective PR strategy. Step 1, identify the goal. Step 2, understand your audience. Step 3, communicate the value. And step 4, express the need. Identifying the goal is to understand what your goal is in this. And for her, it was to organize the TEDx event. Understanding the audience was knowing who she was selling it to. For the school board, she had to understand that they were looking into expansion. The students, they were looking for areas where they can develop themselves. And once she understood her audience, it was easy to communicate the value of what organizing this event can give them. And once she has found that value, expressing the need was a piece of cake. When you follow these 4 steps in order, you are going to be able to combat that resistance which you find in the beginning. There are multiple reasons why people face the resistance, such as either they're not following the steps in order or not even following all the steps. For example, if you do not identify the goal, you will be speaking without purpose. Ever had those conversations in your life where you are speaking about one thing, but you end up in a completely entire dimension altogether? And you wonder, how did I get here? Similarly, when you try to communicate the need, but it has no value in it, every person is going to resist against it. So, my fellow friends, once you have identified the goal and understood your audience, just communicate the value and express your needs. And this will make you an amazing strategic communicator. Remember, it's not how you say it. What you say is also equally important as how you say it. Over to the TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rahul. It was a great speech. Really, we have got idea how to set our goals with a good strategy. Thank you. Well, dear all, as I said, readers or leaders, right? So let's discuss about few leaders, how they are bonding with the reading habit. So Warren Buffett, we know the famous billionaire investor, right? So he used to read 500 pages per day. This is his life routine. This is what is become from zero to hero, right? Yeah. The second, we can say the Amazon owner. Who is Amazon owner? He is, yeah, Jeff Bezos, right? Yeah, he used to spend 8 hours per day to read. And the great man, Bill Gates, yeah, he actually his life goal is he used to read 50 books per year. What? The 50 books per year. That's what he is, a great man in the world and the richest man in the world, right? Yeah. So, and we can say a few others like the Facebook inventor, or who is the Jack Mark Zuckerberg, right? He also that is he confessed in an interview, right? His favorite book is like The Lord of Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. So in this way, we can say many leaders, they are developing themselves because of the reading habit. Yeah, right. So with this thought, next we proceed to the next speaker. Next speaker is Toastmaster Anandan sir. So he is, I can say he is a pillar of VTC. With this lot of his efforts, today we have got number of new valuable guesses. Yes, he is going to give us a level 3 speech. Before calling him, I would like to call his evaluator, Toastmasters Jerome, to read out his objective. Toastmaster Jerome.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manimegalai. Well, good readers make great storytellers, and great storytellers make amazing leaders. I mean, I'm just making up a sentence here, but my point here is that Toastmaster Anandan, he's actually one of the best storytellers I've seen. And once he tells me, a story, he'll just keep, adding more points to it, and he keeps it very interactive. And today, he has chosen the project Connect with Storytelling, which is his level 3 second speech in his part motivational strategies. And I believe he's going to do a very great job. But for the benefit of all of us sitting here, I would like to read out his objectives. His main objective is to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. The member may use any type of story, personal, well-known fiction, or one of his or her own creation. Now, Toastmaster Anandan, I know you're going to do a very great job. And one more thing I would always be, as we always mention, I will be evaluating you on your other basic objectives as well, which remains hand gestures and the things that we can actually see from here. I mean, some certain things we cannot evaluate from here, which I'm aware. Like stage coverage it's not really possible to evaluate, but certain like eye contact and how you maintain your body posture, yes, I will be evaluating. Toastmaster Anandan, all the very best for your speech, and I am excited to see what you are going to speak about today, and all the best to you. Over to the TMOD.
Yeah. Thank you, Toastmaster Jerome. Yeah, as I said, the Toastmaster Anandan, even Jerome also noted that Toastmaster Anandan usually used to talk like a story for simple things. This is his patient. But we are really impressed on that. Today is objective itself is a storytelling. Really, it will be amazing session, I think. So please joining me to welcome Toastmaster Anandan to present his level 3 speech 1. Toastmaster Anandan. Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Good evening, my dear Toastmaster friends and the guests who are here to participate in today's session. Have you ever been isolated or quarantined in your life before this COVID-19, sir? Madam, have anyone been? No, I have been. When I was 9 years old, I had a situation. It was 1966, a Sunday morning. I just woke up to see some bubbles, water bubbles like splinters on my body. I just was confused. I ran up to my mom and said, Mommy, just look at these boils on my body. My mom looked at it and was shocked, but immediately she recovered and just patted me on my back and said, Don't worry, my son. This is known as smallpox. What is it, Mommy? I asked. She said, all the impurities in your body is coming out. So what should I do? When will it go? My mom said, first, you have to be isolated. And she took me inside my room and she changed my bed from the cot to the floor. She sprinkled some neem leaves with turmeric water on the mat, the floor. And she said, I have to sleep here from now onwards. I said, Mom, how long? She said, for about 3 weeks. I said, it's going to be very horrible, Mom. And she came out with the worst part of the story. I am going to be isolated inside this room. I cannot come out of this room. Even my brother cannot come inside my room. My friends, no one except my mom and my dad. The thought was very horrifying. It was not painy initially. So after a few days, I found life very miserable. Nobody to talk to. And in those days, in 1966, there was no TV, no music system, no cell phones to contact. I was just sitting down and reading some books, drawing, painting, and such activities only. But my mother comforted me and said, don't worry, my son, you will come out of it. You are a strong boy. You can. Just wait patiently. Time will pass. The wound will vanish and you will be back to normal very soon. I said, why did this happen to me? I was a little bit shocked, terrified, tensed. My dad came to my rescue. He said, come on, son. You are like a rock. I know you. You can withstand any amount of pain. And he comforted me by saying that he is going to give me a lot of gifts. I asked him, what, Dad? He said, I will present you with a cricket bat, a football, the t-shirts which I these. The next day and the next day, every day he was just buying me one gift after the other. The days passed by. And the worst part of it is, there is no medicine. Diet, bland diet, just a lot of buttermilk and tender coconuts. I cannot eat anything spicy. After 2 weeks, the joyful day of my bath, My mom said I have to finish 3 baths. After that, I'm free. So the first bath, it's a special bath. They put neem leaves, turmeric powder with hot water, and they give me a bath. After the first bath, the splinters and the bubbles started drying up. After 2 days, the second bath, I felt a little bit better. After the third bath, I was the most happiest man in the world. Last, I could go out of my room. My isolation is over. My quarantine is over. I can meet my friends. I can meet my brother. I can play. It passed. My isolation passed. So, my dear friends, we are in quarantine. This COVID-19 is a disease which once makes you to be inside your house. But we are lucky. We can be with the family. We can converse with the family. Add to this, you can eat anything. In fact, my mom, my wife, is making different types of dishes now. Dishes which she has never made in my life. So nice, so tasty, so sweet. It was a golden opportunity. You take it up in that way. Anyway, we have the TV for recreation. I watch so many movies in Netflix. I listen to so many great speakers' speech through net. I was watching many serials. And you also have a music system where I was listening to old songs. And anyway, my contact with the outside world was not cut completely. Personally, I could not meet them, but through cell phone, I was in contact with all my friends, all my relations, all over. It's going to end one day. Just wait patiently. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Really, it is a different quarantine theory we are heard. Yeah. Thank you for that, sharing with us. Well, the world is draws inspiration by our great man Steve Jobs, isn't it? But he actually is influenced by a book by Ian Ross is Atlas Nugget. Yes, if you have a time, please go through this. We can be Steve Jobs at once, at one day, right? Yeah. Then I could say a few others also, like Google CEO, our own countryman, the Sundar Pichai, also yeah, avid reader, you know. Yeah. Next, our Prime Minister Modi ji is also a great reader and great leader, right? Yeah, he confessed in an interview with that Obama, that is Obama and Modi Monkey Bath, I think. In that is said that he was inspired by Franklin Benjamin biography. That biography makes him that made him a lot of inspiration in his life. He said like that. So with this example, what we can get now, the leaders are really inspired and motivated by reading books, right? Yeah. Next. Okay. Suppose let us assume you are reading a thriller book. Okay. So that book has 3 sessions. Okay. Now you covered first session. Okay. Someone that time, someone your friend, let's take your friend come and ask you. You stop from that stage. What will be the next move from the author's view? You just say now. What will say? You just kindle your you will brainstorming and kindle your thoughts, and you will assume and say something na. So in this that is the like that in our Toastmaster we have a special session toast, that is table topic session, to brainstorming and kindle our thoughts. For that, let's welcome Toastmaster Devendiran, today's table topic Toastmaster, to kindle our creativeness. Toastmaster Devendiran, please.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manimegalai. And good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Today, I will be the table topic master for this session, and I will share the information on how the table topic works and how it can be used. In this session, I will be giving a topic. I will give you the topic, and through your perception, you are going to give your own views upon it. And your time limit will be like 1 to 2 minutes. Also, the table topic is very much important, because especially when we are in an official call or somewhere else, our manager may be asking us some questions continuously, but instead of we usually be keeping quiet and hide from this. So in order to avoid that, we can give by coming through this table topics, you can give any sort of answer that is related to the questions. And getting back, I would like to call a volunteer to have the first topic. Is there any volunteer?
Okay, myself, sir.
Yeah. So
Anandan, it's
yeah.
me.
Yes. So your topic will be like, not all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers. I repeat again, not all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers.
I remember in school when I was studying in 6th standard, there was this guy who was an voracious reader. He used to come first in class. Always, people used to call him bookworm also. But unfortunately, in school days events and sports events, he was zero. So again, there was another guy, my friend, my classmate, was so poor in his studies. He's not a good reader. He doesn't like books, he openly says. But he has got so much of knowledge. He comes out outstanding in most of the events in school days and sports days. So the lesson learned from that incident, that it is not necessary that all readers can be leaders. Even not readers can be also leaders, but they have to put in their effort, put in their knowledge, put in their skill, put in their hard work to become leaders. So only by reading, you cannot become a leader. You have to have your own knowledge, talent, skill, hard work to become a great leader. And that lesson taught me to be followed in my future life. Thank you very much. Over to the Toastmaster, table topic master.
Thank you, Anand sir. It was a nice speech on your personal experience, how you are explaining that we should work for a good leader in that way. And is there any volunteer? One more volunteer.
I would like to volunteer.
Sorry. Is there any volunteer?
Yeah, Uma
Yes.
madam is a volunteer.
Oh, okay. Ma'am, a house without.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Your topic is a house without books is like a room without windows. A house without books is a room without windows.
Can you repeat?
Yeah, sure. A house without books is like a room without windows.
There is some voice break.
Okay, I will put in chat.
No, you can tell also. No problem.
A house without books is like a room without windows.
Okay, fine. Good evening to one and all. A house without books is a room without windows. It is actually very true. So obviously, we take a lot of troubles in reading while we were at school. But when do we have the craving for knowledge? When you want to achieve something in life, then you start reading up philosophical books or books by successful people. So definitely, in a house when you take, you need to have not only one particular category of books, but all categories of books. It may not be useful at the time of your purchase, but it will definitely be useful at some point of time in your life. Basically, when you, as my personal example is, I don't read, I'm not a voracious reader. But now, as I've been to teaching line for more than 10 years, when I have to share certain things to my students, I start learning certain things. So I go back to certain books. Very old books are there. So I get a lot of points from those books. So definitely in a house there has got to be good books, which will have inculcate a lot of values to the person who is reading. You can read, your friends can read, or even your grandchildren, whoever it is. There is no limit for knowledge. Sky is the limit for even sky is not the limit for learning. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Thank you, ma'am. And it was a wonderful speech on how the books will help of reading books. And can I have one more volunteer?
Hi. Can I volunteer?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And your topic will be like, once you have learned to read, you will be forever free. Once you learn to read, you will be forever free.
So I'm pretty sure most of us have come across a time where you felt that not knowing almost feels like it is going to kill you. The curiosity kills the cat, right? You would have often heard that phrase. Now, I believe knowledge has the power, is the key to unlocking your freedom, letting you fly wherever you want, liberating you to do whatever that you wish to do and seek out for success in all the ways that you wish to seek it out for. Now, I believe books and knowledge that comes along with it are the only things that can help you do it. If not for books, it could be from people. People are books, their experiences are like books. Either way, knowledge, as you read, as your knowledge increases, as your experience builds, I believe that it can set you free because the truth sets you free. And I hope all of you read and all of you finally achieve the enlightenment that sets you free. Over to the table topic master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Godfrey. And we came to the end of the table topic session, and I would like to have a last table topic, last volunteer to have a topic. Is there anyone to take the last topic?
Toastmaster Tamilarasi ma'am is showing
Yeah,
her
Tamilarasi. Your topic will be drink deeply from good books.
Okay.
Drink deeply from good books.
Good books. Okay. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. A good book shows the wisdom of ages in a capsule form. I always sit down with a marker in my hand while I was reading a good book. I always underline and marks and write notes on the sides. Why? Because someday when I refer anything, I don't have time to go through all the throughout the entire book. So I will able to see the important points very quickly. By doing this, so without if I don't mark anything, means it will be a wasting of time. So I can easily summarizing the points and I will use these points in my life. So I will take the good points from the books and I will use again and again in my life. So due to this, so I kept some books as a treasure for me. Where we will be in 5 years from now will depend upon 3 things. That is the books we read, the movies we watch, and the friends we have. What we have today is also a result of 3 things, because they represent the input that will lead to the output. That is, it produces a attitude. So, fellow Toastmasters and guests, so drink deeply from good books. Surely it will create a good attitude. Thank you. Over to TMOD.
Thank you, the Toastmaster Tamilarasi, and it was a wonderful speech. And we came at the week, and I would like to thank all the Toastmasters and the guests for volunteering themselves for this to take the topic. And over to the team.
Thank you, Toastmaster Devendiran. It was a great session. Really, the topics were interesting and coined with theme. Thank you for that. Well, dear friends, why we should read every day? Please unmute and answer me. Why we should that is, what are the benefits of reading continuous, that is regular reading? Sir, please unmute yourself. Anandan sir, you are speaking something.
Okay. Reading is accumulating your knowledge.
Yeah, great sir.
The more we read, the more knowledge we acquire.
Yeah. Other than that, physical, that is benefits like, I can say the mental stimulation, right? It definitely, it will stimulate our mental ability, and stress buster. We can say, right? If you read every day, definitely the favorite book will be the stress buster. And the reading habit will expand your vocabulary, right? Then the memory improvement and the improved the focus and concentration, and we can say it's a free entertainment. You can enjoy with the reading habit, right? So please, Toastmaster and guests, that is make a habit of reading every day. And can you say someone which is your favorite book? Which is your favorite book? Please share here.
You can win by
You can win by yeah, it's a great book. Yeah, it's a great book. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing us.
Rich Dad, Poor Son. Dad.
Yeah, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yes, that's also a great book. Yes, it's very motivational book. I do like that book. My favorite book is The Leader Who Had No Title by Robin Sharma. Robin Sharma is my favorite author. I used to read all his books. So favorite is that The Leader Who Had No Title. Yeah. So, well, now let's move on to our next session. That is after reading every chapters, that is all the chapters, we used to usually whenever we take away a book like a story book, we used to see the last page. Right, we used to read the last. What will be the that is the story end and like that. Now we have a great session, evaluation section, because without evaluation there is no room for improvement, isn't it? So for doing this session, I would like to call again the general evaluator Toastmaster Tamilarasi to lead our session. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manimegalai. Good evening once again, Toastmasters and guests. First of all, I would like to call our first speaker, Toastmaster Rahul's evaluator, Toastmaster Godfrey.
Good evening, everyone. So today, Toastmaster Rahul presented his speech about PIA strategy. Kudos to you, Toastmaster Rahul, for completing your objectives, which was successfully presenting a PR strategy, and I believe this is the extra mile in your speech that most speakers wouldn't cover, discussing the parts where you might be bound to fail. Now, getting straight into the positives of your speech that I liked. Most people wouldn't think or calculate for the places of error or chances of failure. Now, as soon as you have delivered the 4 steps of the PR strategy, which were, just a second, yes, identifying the goal, understanding the audience, communicating the value, and I believe the final point is expressing the value. Now, most speakers would just cover the four points and stress on its importance. You, on the other hand, gave us examples of what will happen if either of these points were bound to be missing. And I believe this is very important for a PR strategy because people tend to skip over a lot of points very often. Now, second of all, you had the audience's attention with very smart interactive bits like your questionnaire in the starting, the examples in between, and how everyone can inculcate this PR strategy at every step of their way, no matter what their age or field of profession is. And that is pretty smart. Now, moving on, I believe as great and nearly flawless as your speech was, and this I say from a very personal perspective because I've seen you speak before, you are a speaker with great voice, which comes only second to your amazing body language. So I feel today, because of this being probably your first speech given through an online method, your body language was slightly constricted, where your hands were often coming in front of your face, and I believe you were struggling slightly a bit to coordinate how you're being seen on screen and your hand and your face and your style of delivery. For a person who has a very elegant and exuberant body language that almost generally covers the whole stage, you struggled a bit there. So my suggestion to you would be, which is very simple, ask the timer to give like probably a 5-second gap, stand a bit back, make sure you have enough space on either side of you to move and exude your confidence with beautiful hand gestures and body language. With that, to summarize the evaluation, you had great instances of completing your objectives where you covered points of failure, and you had great interactive tidbits here and there that held the audience's attention. If you could slightly improve upon how you're being perceived on screen and how your body language comes off as how at ease you be seen by the audience, I believe you can bring more and more beautiful speeches. With that being said, I wish you all the best. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Geoffrey. Sorry. Thank you, Toastmaster Godfrey. Now I call upon our second evaluator, Toastmaster Jerome, for giving his evaluation on Toastmaster Anandan, sir.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tamilarasi. I believe a great speaker speaks from his experience. And today, Toastmaster Anandan gave a brilliant speech from his experience, telling us some instances from his life that we could all relate to. Now, what I really loved about his speech is how he started off with a question that was very relevant to the current scenario. He asked, have you ever been quarantined before this? Now, that itself struck a nerve. Everyone started thinking, have I been in a situation like this before? Maybe we don't remember. Have I? I mean, many of us might have chicken pox and all before. I mean, he was talking about smallpox, but we might have certain incidents, but it didn't click. Now we started thinking. Now that itself struck a nerve. So I really appreciate that. And now what I'd like to say is that I really loved your voice modulation. You had questions like, what is it, mommy? or you said this is known as smallpox, and then you kept the humor up as well. What your mom said. This is to remove the bad thing from your body. You kept the audience interested with voice modulation and humor. I really appreciate that. But I think I have just one improvement for you. As a small suggestion is that, as a great storyteller, I feel you should be a little more expressive with your hands. I mean, most of the time your hands were in this position rather than, and not very, gesturizing according to the sentences. For example, when you had boils and you said, I had boils on my body, you can point to your body. Or when you said there were no cell phones during my time, you can say, I had no cell phones during my time. Or even you were talking about my dad gave me a football or a cricket bat, or some kind of varied gestures, which would definitely add a little more flair to your speech, because you are a very great storyteller. So if you inculcate small things like this, I believe that you would make a much greater storyteller, and you would hook on almost every single person you speak to. And just one more small suggestion is preferably you could stand up, which would probably make you express a little more. I'm not sure if it would help, but it was just a small suggestion from my side. Apart from that, it was a very great speech. And to summarize, I really loved how you started your speech. You had great voice modulation in it. You had great humor, but small improvement is, I would say, you could work on your gestures. That's it from my side. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jerome. Next, before I give my report, I would like to call the tag team. First, I call upon the timer, Toastmaster Geoffrey, for giving his timer report.
Good evening, everyone. Moving on. In the prepared speech section, Toastmaster Rahul took 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Toastmaster Anandan took 8 minutes and 6 seconds. Toastmaster Rahul is within time. Moving on to the table topic session, Toastmaster Anandan took 1 minute and 42 seconds. Toastmaster Uma took 1 minute and 21 seconds. Toastmaster Godfrey took 1 minute and 12 seconds. Toastmaster Tamilarasi took 1 minute and 45 seconds. Everyone's within time. Finally, moving on to the evaluation session, Toastmaster Godfrey took 4 minutes, and Toastmaster Jerome took 2 minutes and 37 seconds. Toastmaster Jerome is with. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Geoffrey. So the eliminations are in this Toastmaster Anandan, sir, and in table topic session, Toastmaster Godfrey, because they exceed the time limit. Next, I call upon Toastmaster Ramun for giving his account reports.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So let's move on with the accounters report. In the prepared speeches segment, Toastmaster Rahul had 1 and then 1 because. Toastmaster Anandan sir had a clean speech. Kudos to him. Moving on with the table topic session, Toastmaster Anandan had 1 R. Guest Uma had 2 R and 1 and. Toastmaster Godfrey had 1 and. Toastmaster Tamil had 1 R and 2 buts. And moving on with the evaluation session, Toastmaster Godfrey had 4 R's. Toastmaster Jerome had 3 R's and 2 so's. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rahul. Next, I would like to call the grammarian, Toastmaster Sumedas, for giving his grammarian report.
Yeah, hi. Okay, some of the improper usages, have anyone been, is has anyone been. All my friends, all my relations can be all of my friends and family. To be followed in my future life, to be followed in the future. And while I was reading can be while I am reading. And some of the impressive words are liberating, voracious, exuberant, exude. And unfortunately, nobody used the word of the day. Thank you. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sumedas. Next, okay, now let me start with my report. At first, Toastmaster Rahul's Evaluator, Toastmaster Godfrey gave all the details, all the evaluation details about the Toastmaster Rahul. The Toastmaster Rahul good hand gestures, and you have good expressions, and you explained it step by step. And modulations also very good. All of them described very well by the Toastmaster Godfrey. But I would like to give some suggestion that some interaction, if you have some interaction with audience, or some question and to ask some question and answer like this, means it will be very nice. Otherwise, your speech is very good. Some continuity from one stage to next stage, from if you provide, means it will be okay. Next, you go to the when going to the second speaker, Toastmaster Anandan's speech is very good, and Toastmaster Jerome explained very well about that. But in storytelling, the objective is story, means we have to tell the summary story. I think Anandan sir told about his own story. So you have to check the objectives, sir. Next one is you have good expressions, good modulation, other than, and all of them very nice. Other than some jokes or some interactions, if you include me, it will be nice, I think. Next in tag team, you did very well. You done very good job. That is Toastmaster Godfrey and Geoffrey. Sorry, Toastmaster Ramun and Toastmaster Sumedas did well done. And Toastmaster TMOD for today, Toastmaster Manimegalai took a very good title. That is Readers or Leaders or very good title. His speech is very interesting. But some suggestion I want to tell them, that is to some activities, if you include some activities, some interactions, means it will go to next level. And table topic master, Toastmaster Devendiran sir gave good titles based on our theme. It's very interesting. And the session as a whole, our meeting starts at 4:45 p.m. Only. And so if you start the session within correct time, means it will be very nice. And other than this, the whole session will be goes very well. And next, the table topic, while discussing about the table topic, the guest Sumo ma'am speech was very good, and the Toastmaster Godfrey he gave very excellent speech. So the whole session, all the speakers, all the evaluators done very good job, and kudos for all speakers, evaluators, and role players. That's it from my side as a general evaluator. Over to TMOD.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Yeah. Our missile man Kalamji also penned a number of books, right? So in that, Wings of Fire is my favorite one. He says that one good book is equal to 100 good friends, and one good friend is equal to a library. Right? It's a great quote. Here, dear Toastmaster and guests, if you want to lead, you must read. Definitely, this is the surest way to improve your quality, to stand out in front of others. So please make a habit of read every day and become a leader. Good luck. Thank you for the opportunity. Over to Presiding Officer, Toastmaster Tamilarasi.
And Toastmaster Toastmaster Godfrey from V80, Sumedas from Loyola Toastmasters, attending our session of VTC today. I hope you all had a great session today and hope to see you all in the next session as well. Have a reading weekend and thank you. And over to SCAM.
Okay, yes, sorry. Yeah, like presiding officer said today, we had a very amazing session. And again, to thank all the guests who could join us today, especially all the guest role players who helped us strengthen the quality of the session today. A big thanks to all of you. And just a message from my experience from reading and as a leader as well. When I started reading books, I noticed that the knowledge that I gained and passing it on to my fellow co-leaders, it's not only about where we get the knowledge, but about passing it on to someone else and helping them enhance their quality of life. Like when we read a book, our quality of life also increases. And I believe that is what makes us truly amazing leaders. And with that, I would like to end today's session.